Hello everyone, good evening to one and all. Welcome to ACE Online, RRB JE, Junior Engineers. Myself, Dr. Prem Kumar, Faculty of ACE Engineering Academy. I have done my PhD from JNT University, Hyderabad, in the area of cloud computing. Branch Computer Science and Engineering, subject System Analysis and Design. Now we are going to see the syllabus which was framed by RRB board for the subject System Analysis and Design. RRB JE System Analysis and Design syllabus. First one is of system components. Any system is a collection of components which consists of various components. So what are the various system components? Hardware is one of the component, software, data, processes and people. These are all the various components for the system. Next one is of system planning. To develop any software system, system planning is supposed to take place. So what's the importance of this system planning? System planning purpose here is preliminary investigation will take place. So what's the importance of preliminary investigation? So conducting feasibility study. Before going to develop any software system, feasibility study is supposed to be conducted. That means to say whether the developed system, is it worthwhile or not? Is it possible to implement the proposed system or not? If we develop this system, can it run in benefit or not? So all these things will be determined under this system planning. So that is what the importance of system planning. Coming to next is of fact-finding techniques. What is the importance of these fact-finding techniques? The importance of the fact-finding techniques is gathering the client requirements by using various techniques. The purpose of client requirements is based on the client requirements only software system can be developed. So there are various fact-finding techniques which were used for gathering the client requirements from various sources. So what are those fact-finding techniques? By conducting interviews to the client, by questionnaire as well as by conducting surveys, that is also one of the fact-finding technique. Through observations also requirements can be gathered. Through research also requirements can be gathered. So these are all the various fact-finding techniques. Through these techniques, client requirements can be detailed collected from the client, which will helpful for the development of software system. Next topic is of tools for documenting procedure and decisions. So there are various tools to design the software system decisions. So those are tools, Lucidchart, SmartDraw, those are all the open source tools. Even there are various licensed tools also available, Rational ROS, Rational Software Architect. So those are all the tools which were required for modeling the design decisions. Next is of structured analysis. What is the importance of this structured analysis? Structured analysis is a software engineering technique which is used for the purpose of providing the specification of system requirements that can be easily understandable by the users. So that is what the importance of structured analysis. In the structured analysis, modeling the logic of the old system can take place, as well as modeling the logic of the new system, and as well as modeling the new environment of the software system. These are all the purpose of structured analysis. Through structured analysis, there were multiple models available. Best model can be selected by using this structured analysis process. So that is what the purpose of structured analysis. Next one is of data flow analysis. What is the importance of this data flow analysis? Data flow analysis process which can gather pieces of information of pieces of information of applications. So that is what the purpose of data flow analysis. So the data flow analysis can be done by using here data flow diagrams as well as control flow graphs, Through control flow graph, this data flow analysis can be achieved here. So what is control flow graph? Control flow graph represents graphical representation of program's control structure. Control flow graph represents what here? Graphical representation of program control structure. Any control flow graph consists of 4 elements. What are those 4 elements here? Processes, that is set of sequences of statements, program statements. Decisions, in a decision having conditions, thus decision having 2 branches. If the condition is true, has to follow yes path. If the condition is false, has to follow no path. And junctions and case statements. These are all the control flow graph elements. So using this control flow graph, data flow analysis will take place. That means to say gathering pieces of information for development of software system. Coming to next topic is of flow diagrams. Flow diagrams are nothing but here DFDs. So what is the importance of these DFDs? DFD stands for data flow diagram. DFD stands for data flow diagram. So what is the importance of these data flow diagrams? The importance of these DFDs data flow diagrams is of data is flowing from where to where. Data is processing within the software system. So that can be represented by using these DFDs. Again, DFDs were classified into various types. 0 level DFD, right? Level 1 DFD, so level 0 DFD, level 1 DFD, level 2, 3 DFD, and level 3 DFDs. So what's the importance of these various levels of DFDs here? At 0 level DFD, context diagram will take place, means here abstract representation of software system. So level 0 DFD, entire software system can be represented with single process, means abstract representation, not detailed. Whereas coming to level 1, little bit more details, means single process can get divided into multiple processes. And whereas level 2 will be having more detail about the software system. And level 3 is in detail. But level 3 is which will become more complex. That's why most of the designers, they'll consider while designing a software system, level 0, level 1, and level 2 DFDs. So that is what the importance of DFDs, data flow diagrams. Next topic is of data dictionary. What is the importance of this data dictionary? The importance of data dictionaries which were used for describing the collection of data objects. Describing the collection of data objects. So what is the purpose of this data dictionaries? Data dictionaries which can remove the replication of data and name management will take place. Those are all the advantages of data dictionaries. Coming to next topic is of application prototype. What is the importance of application prototype? We know the purpose of prototype. So the designers, developers, and almost all the various levels of people, they'll prepare prototype for the software system. So what is the need of prototypes building? Prototype represents initial version of a software system or building the model of a software system. So initial version of a software system or building the model of a software system. By building this particular application prototype, so once the prototype sample model is developed, that is delivered to the client they will evaluate. If they identified any changes, those changes will be improved in the next prototype. So second prototype development. So that is improved version of first prototype. And again second prototype sample model also developed, improved version, again delivered to the client. Client they will evaluate if they identify any additional features, functionalities required. Those will be given to the again designers or developers. They'll improve the third prototype version. Again that is evaluated by the client till the clients should satisfy. That means to say prototype process helps to the designers, that is designers, developers, as well as clients to better understand the requirements of the software system so that the development team, they can develop the complete software system which can be satisfied by the client and which can maintain quality. That is what the purpose of application prototype. The example we'll take here, one of the example for application prototype. Let's take one of the example for application prototype. One of the example here is the engineers, they'll use prototype. The engineers, they'll use prototype to evaluate the aircraft design, before production begins. So that means to say that way this aircraft design, is it? So prototype, the engineers, they'll use prototype to evaluate the aircraft design before production begins. So that way application prototype process helps to the designers to better design the software system. That is what the importance of the application prototype. That's the importance of application prototype. Next topic is of system design. So what's the importance of system design? System design is nothing but preparing the blueprint for the software system, means giving solution for the software system will take place under this system design. Coming to next, software development specification. So we already know once the requirements were gathered by the client, with that analysis will take place. After that SRS document will be prepared, software requirement specification document. Based on this SRS document, software design specification document will be prepared, which represents design. Based on this design, this software development specification document, so how to implement the source code of the software system based on the SDS. So that implementation, development related requirements will be specified in this software development specification document. That's what the importance of software development specification. Coming to next is of design input, output, files and control procedures. So how to design the input for any software system. So any design input, designing of input which specifies the quality and accuracy of the software system. So the design input should maintain quality, should maintain accuracy, right? So that is what design input. So any software system which can take the inputs through various devices. One of the device which is used for design input, captured device. There are some various captured devices. What are those? Here is credit card scanner. Example of captured device here is credit card scanner, barcode reader. So these are the example for what here designing the input. So input system which is taking the input by using these devices, credit card scanner as well as barcode reader. That is what the importance. And coming to output, files and control procedure. So output. So once the input is given to the software system which can be processed and which is producing some set of outputs, that is printed outputs or screen outputs. So that is what the importance of outputs. Next one is of a program specification. So what is the importance of this program specification? The importance of this program specification is before going to develop any program, here specification, so precise statement of efficiency of individual program supposed to be specified, precise statement. So the program specification which consists of precise statement to produce efficiency of individual programs, and this program specification which determines what that particular program will do. So all those details will be specified in this program specification. So that is what the importance of program specification. Next is of design of computer output and its presentation. So once the input is given to the software system which can process and producing the output by using various output devices. What are those various output devices here? Monitors, output devices. These are all the output devices. Monitors, example of output devices. Monitors, printers, projectors, etc. All these are the output devices. So this is what the syllabus which was framed by the RRB board, right? So for the system analysis and design in RRB JE, Railway Recruitment Board junior engineers, the weightage was too high. That is 11% to 13% weightage was given. So the weightage. So more weightage is there for this particular subject. So 11% to 13% questions were asked from this particular subject, system analysis and design. So RRB JE junior engineers aspirants, they have to concentrate more and more on this particular subject so that you can score maximum marks. So this is what about syllabus and weightage of the system analysis and design subject, right? So coming to next we are going to discuss system analysis and design. So what is the importance of this system analysis? What this system analysis represents? System analysis. In system analysis, more emphasis is given. So in system analysis, more emphasis is given to understand the details of an existing system. Details of an existing system. So in system analysis process, more emphasis is given to better understand, detailed understanding of the existing system. As well as here, one more thing will take place here. How to improve this existing system also will take place in this system analysis process. In this system analysis process, preliminary investigation will take place here. Preliminary investigation and here problem identification and recommend to improve the existing system by using collected requirements. So this is what the purpose of system analysis. In this system analysis process, more emphasis is given to understanding the details of an existing system, is it? And the preliminary investigation will take place. What is the importance of preliminary investigation? So in preliminary investigation, feasibility study process will take place. That means to say in system analysis, is it preliminary investigation, that is feasibility study process will take place. What is that is the software system which we are going to develop, is it worthwhile or not? Can we implement the proposed software system or not? If we implement, can it run in benefit or not? Can we develop this proposed system within the given budget or not? Can we develop this system within the given schedule or not? So all these things will be identified in this preliminary investigation process. That is what the importance of system analysis. So in this system analysis, all those things, preliminary investigation process will take place. Then that is what the importance of system analysis. Next, coming to here, system design. So what is the importance of this system design? In this system design is a process which is going to propose new business system. So system design is a process which is going to propose new business system. And in this system design, blueprint of the software system will be take place. That means to say, giving solution for the software system will take place in this system design process. So that is what the importance of system design. So we'll discuss here stages involved in Building an improved system. How to improve the software system? That we'll discuss with the help of diagrammatic representation. So how to improve the software system? That we'll discuss with the help of diagrammatic representation. So request for a new system. So the request was given for building of new system, new software system. So new software system request was received here. So based on that request here, system analysis will take place. In this system analysis, what are the things will take place here? Preliminary investigation, that means to say feasibility study will take place. In system analysis, whether the software system which is going to be proposed, is it worthwhile or not? Can we develop this software system within the given budget or not? Can we develop within the given schedule or not? Is the proposed system implementable by existing technology or not? All those things will be determined under this system analysis process. That is, feasible solution will be identified and system requirements will be gathered. Those will be thoroughly analyzed, and after thorough analysis here, one document will be prepared. What is the name of the document? Is SRS document. After thorough system analysis. So here client given the requirements, right? The given client given requirements might have contradiction in it, ambiguity in it, incompleteness in it. So those contradictory requirements, ambiguous requirements and incomplete requirements should be discarded by this system analysis process. So the remaining requirements which were not having any kind of contradiction, incompleteness and ambiguities, with those SRS document will be prepared by the project leader, SRS document. So what is SRS stands for? Software Requirements Specification Document. So what this SRS document consists of in it? This SRS document consists of in it here, client requirements and project strategies, means project plans. So that is what the importance of this SRS document. Once the SRS document is ready, based on this SRS document, system design will take place. So what's the importance of system design? In system design is nothing but here preparing blueprint for the software system. That means to say giving solution for the software system. Giving solution for the software system. Who is going to give solution for the software system here? So the designers, architecture level designers, system designers, they'll prepare blueprint and they'll give the solution. So based on what here? So system design can be done based on SRS document only. That means to say based on the client requirements only. Once the SRS document, once the system design is done, so under this project leaders, module leaders will be there. They'll thoroughly understand this SRS document. They'll prepare the solution, that is blueprint, is it? And they'll prepare one document. Name of the document is what here? SDS document. That is what? Design specification, means here system design specification document. SDS stands for what here? System design specification document. What this system design specification document consists of in it? This system design specification document, what are the things which were involved in this system design specification document? This system design specification document, which consists of input output screens, as well as which consists of input output screens, pseudocode or algorithm, which consists of DFDs or UML, Unified Modeling Language, which consists of backend databases, various databases, that is Oracle, MySQL, Sybase or MongoDB. So that is what SDS document consists of, software design specification document consists of. So based on this SDS document only, system implementation will take place. So system implementation is nothing but what here? Generating source code. System implementation, in this system implementation, what will take place here? Generating source code of the software system. So how to generate source code? Based on what? Based on the SDS document only. The programmers or developers, they'll generate source code. That is what the importance of system implementation. Once the source code is generated, the generated source code might have various errors in it. What are those errors here? Syntax errors, semantic errors, logical errors, processing errors, etc. There are many errors, right? So how to identify those errors? For that, there is a testing process was introduced. What is testing? Testing is the process of executing a program with the intent of finding errors. So software testers, they'll apply testing process, is it, by using software testing tools. So again, testing can be done in two ways. One is manual testing, another one is automated testing. Manual testing is time consuming, having many drawbacks. That's why most of the software industries nowadays, they are using software testing tools. Testers, they are using software testing tools and they are identifying errors and they prepare error report, and that is given to whom here? developers. So developers, they'll perform debugging process. Debugging is nothing but correcting the identified errors. Now the application is error-free after testing process. Error-free application is working software. Error-free application here. Working software is nothing but what here? Error-free application, which is delivered to the client. Right? Now client, they will evaluate. If they identified any changes, minor changes in the delivered product or delivered application or delivered project, is it? So that is reported to whom here? Maintenance team, right? So those maintenance team, what they'll do here? Maintenance team, they'll what here? The maintenance team, what are the changes which were identified by the client? This maintenance team, what they'll do? Post-implementation process will take place here. Post-implementation review. That means to say the client requirements were, clients were identified some changes in the delivered product. Is it? After implementation, that means to say post-implementation is nothing but after delivery of product, those changed client requirements supposed to be improved or implemented. So again, is it? Again, what here? Those changes supposed to be improved in the implementation of the software system. Is it clear? And again, what are the changes which was identified by the client? Those will be implemented, re-implemented in the source code of the application. Is it? Again, the re-implemented source code. Is it? Improved source code which is delivered to the client. Again, client will evaluate, right? If they identified some more additional features functionalities required, in that case, again, post-implementation process will take place. So improving the changes which is identified by the client, that will take place in this implementation of source code. And after improving those changes, again, the post-implementation source code was delivered to the client. At this stage, if client satisfied, they'll stop the process. So this is what iterative process, till client satisfies with the developed application. So that is what the importance of what here? Improving the system. Stages involved in building an improved system. Building an improved system. So how to improve system? So taking the what here? Feedback of the client periodically. What are the changes which is suggested or given by the client? Those should be implemented. So that is what the importance of stages involved in building an improved system. Next, we are going to discuss briefly about system components. Any system is a collection of components. The system consists of various components. What are those here is? Hardware is one of the component. Hardware. One more is of software. Right? One more component is of data. One more component is of processes, right? One more component is of processes, and one more component is of people. So these are the various components of the software system. Any software system is a collection of components. The system components were classified into 5: hardware, software, data, processes, and people. So about these things we will discuss briefly. With the help of diagrammatic representation. So what is here? Hardware. So what is hardware here? So hardware devices which includes various components in it, hardware devices. That is simply we call it as what here? Machines, desktops, laptops. Is it clear? Which are having some hardware resources in it, hardware resources. What are those hardware resources? So server is the best example of what here? Hardware. Server machines, workstations, CPUs. Is it? Secondary storage, hard disk, all these comes under hardware. That is what the importance of what here? Hardware. And coming to software. What is software? What is software represents? Software represents a set of sequences, set of objects which can form a configuration. The example of here, software here is softwares were classified into 2 categories here. So what are those 2 categories here? Application software, is it? And system software. Softwares were classified into what here? Application software and system software. So what is application software? So day-to-day transactions related applications. Is it? Web-based applications. All these comes under what here? Application software. So various applications can be developed and delivered to the client. They are operating those application services. They are using those application services. All those comes under application software. right? And coming to system software example is operating system, compilers, interpreters, all this comes under system software. So this operating system and all which can run the hardware resources, which can control the hardware resources. So that is what the importance of software. Coming to data. So raw data can be transformed into mission understandable information. So that is what about the importance of data. Coming to processes, software processes that can be represented in the form of tasks. So that is what the importance of processes. And people, what's the importance of people here? People means users, end users who are interacting with the developed software application and who are trying for expecting the software services from the developed application. We call them as people. So these are all the example for what we call them as. These are all the example for components of the system. Components of an information system. Next, we are going to discuss about system planning. So what's the importance of system planning? About that, we will discuss in detail here. The importance of system planning here is preliminary investigation will take place. In system planning, what will take place here? Preliminary investigation will take place. Investigation will take place. So how to conduct this preliminary investigation? Through feasibility study process. Through feasibility study. So what's the importance of this feasibility study? Feasibility study process determines whether the software system which was proposed, is it worthwhile or not if we implement, is it possible to implementable or not, can we develop within the given budget or not, can we develop this particular proposed system within the given schedule or not, is that particular developed system operationable or not by the end users efficiently or not. So all these things will be determined under this system planning. So based on this system planning only, next that is what design implementation will take place. That's why system planning plays major role. That's why before going to develop a software system planning should be done properly. That means to say preliminary investigation and feasibility studies supposed to be conducted properly, thoroughly, so that the developed product which can maintain quality and the developed product once it is developed and delivered to the client, so organizations which they can run in benefits. So that is what the purpose of proper system planning supposed to be required before going to develop any software system. So about this we will discuss with the help of diagrammatic representation. So system request. So what is the system request here? System request purpose here. So request to the information technology department. What is that here? Develop a software system. Develop a new software system. That is what system request. System request represents what here? There is a request that develop a new software system, right? So new software system development will take place by using this phase 1. So which will start from phase 1. What is the phase 1 telling to us? System planning. Just now we had discussed system planning. So in system planning, preliminary investigation will take place, means feasibility study is supposed to be conducted thoroughly about the proposed system, right? So if the feasibility study is done properly, then the remaining phases will take place. Once the feasibility study, preliminary investigation, feasibility study is done, report was generated, and based on that here, phase 2 will take place. That is system analysis. So we had discussed what is the importance of system analysis. So clients will give requirements to whom here? Development team. The development team, the gathered requirements might have contradiction in it, ambiguity in it, and might have incomplete requirements. So those contradictory, incomplete, ambiguous requirements should be discarded by performing this system analysis process. Once those contradictory, ambiguous and incomplete requirements once discarded, then remaining requirements which were useful for development of software system, with that one document will be prepared. Name of the document is SRS document, software requirement, system requirement specification document, system requirement specification document. What this document consists of? This document consists of here client requirements, client specified requirements, and what it consists of, and project strategies means project plans. How to project strategies. Project strategies, that mean to say project plans, right? How to develop the software system, right? So once the SRS document is ready, in phase 2 system analysis, if it is done, then based on this SRS document, next phase, phase 3 system design will take place. That we will see here. In phase 3, what will take place here? System design will take place. In phase 3, what will take place here? System design will take place. Right. So what is the importance of system design? System design represents what here? Preparing blueprint for the software system, giving solution for the software system based on what here? Based on SRS document, right? Based on SRS document, is it software system will be designed, preparing blueprint, that is solution was given, and the module leaders who given solution, is it they prepared the one document, name of the document is what here? System design specification document. What this system design specification document consists of in it? This system design specification document, which consists of here input output screens, which consists of pseudocode or algorithm, right? And which consists of DFDs or UML to model a software system, and which consists of backend database. What are those backend databases here? MySQL, Oracle, Sybase, ODB, etc. So this is what this system design specification document consists of, right? Once this SDS document is ready, based on this SDS system design specification document only, phase 4 will take place. What is phase 4 talking here? System implementation. So what is system implementation? Based on the system design specification document, source code can be generated by the programmers or developers. That we call it as system implementation. Once the source code is generated, is it? Generated source code might have various types of errors, syntax, semantic, and all other various types of processing errors, logical errors, and all, right? So those errors supposed to be identified by the software testers by applying testing techniques, testing tools. By using testing tools, they identified errors. They'll identify errors. They'll prepare error report that is given to the developers, right? Developers, they'll perform debugging process, means correcting the identified errors, right? Now the application is error-free, complete functioning information system. What is meant by complete functioning information system here? The developed application source code which was generated, which the testing process was done properly. That's why the application was error-free. That's why the name given here, complete functioning information system. Right? Now, after this, the complete means error-free application supposed to be in phase 5, system operation delivered to the client. So, who will operate the delivered application here? The application will be delivered to the client. They'll evaluate it. Means they'll evaluate, they'll operate. So, while operating, if they identified any changes, that is support, they'll give feedback. Support is nothing but what here? Feedback. So, minor changes required, minor changes supposed to be done to the application. So, with those changes, again maintenance team will correct those minor changes, and again redeployment will take place, again re-evaluation by the client will take place. If they satisfy, then the process will be stopped. Operational information system. So, the operational information system was satisfied by the client. So, this is what the importance of what here? The phases and deliverables of the software development life cycle phases, system development life cycle phases. Next, we are going to discuss about the software design. So, how to design the software system? What is the thing required for that? So, how to model the object-oriented software system? How to model the object-oriented software system? Object-oriented software system. Procedural-oriented software systems were designed by using DFDs. So, DFDs were used, is it, by using procedural-oriented procedural-oriented software systems were used, designed by using DFDs. But DFDs were having some drawbacks. What are the drawbacks here? When the system size is increasing, complexity is increasing. That is what the problem with DFDs. If the size of the application is increasing, that means to say here by one of the complex software system, large scale complex software system, which is going to be designed by using DFDs. At level 0, it's fine. Level 1, it's fine. Level 2 till level 2, it's fine. If it reaches to level 3, it's very difficult for the designers to design level 3 DFD. And difficult to understand, difficult to design, difficult to maintain. So that is what the problem with DFDs, data flow diagrams, right? That's why object-oriented software systems can be modeled by using one of the object-oriented modeling language. What is the name of the object-oriented modeling language here? UML. So UML was introduced. UML stands for Unified Modeling Language. UML stands for Unified Modeling Language. UML stands for Unified Modeling Language. So what's the importance of this Unified Modeling Language? Unified UML is one of the object-oriented modeling language. So using UML, object-oriented software systems can be designed. Object-oriented software systems can be designed, right? So why this UML became popular? So entire software systems can be designed, that is in the form of objects and classes. So what is the advantage with objects and classes? When the software system is designed, that is in the form of objects and classes. What is the advantage with that? The size of the object and class is very small, so that the designers, they can easily design it, is it? And as well as they can easily understand it, is it? So these are, they can easily replace it, they can easily reuse it. These are all the advantages. That's why UML became popular. Unified Modeling Language became popular for modeling of software system, right? So modeling of software system. So about this UML we'll discuss, right? So UML consists of 3 building blocks. UML consists of 3 building blocks. 3 building blocks. So what are those 3 building blocks that we'll see, list out. One is of things. Second one is of relationships. Third one is of diagrams. Things. Here things, there are 4 things in UML. So structural things, behavioral things, grouping things, and annotational things. What are those 4 here? So things were again classified into how many categories here? Things were again classified into 4 categories. Things were again classified into how many categories here? 4 categories. First one is what here? Structural things. Second one is of behavioral things. Third one is of grouping things. Fourth one is of annotational things. So what is the importance of these structural things? Structural things which were used for modeling the static view of a software system. The developers and the clients, if they want to view, they want to understand the static view of a software system, is it using these structural things? They can view the structural view of a software system, static view of a software system. So structural things were used for modeling the static view of a software system. Example, classes, interfaces, all this comes under structural things, is it? Components, nodes, all this comes under structural things. Coming to behavioral things, if the developers as well as clients, if they want to understand the dynamic view of a software system, that they can view by using these behavioral things. So behavioral things were used for modeling the dynamic view of a software system. That is state missions, which comes under what here? Behavioral things, state missions, right? And coming to grouping things. So grouping is nothing but what here? So UML components, is it classes, interfaces, all those things supposed to be placed in one place, that we call it as here grouping things. So that can be represented with what here? Packages. So packages. So what these packages consists of in it? So all the classes, interfaces and components, nodes, all this will be stored in this particular package. That is what the importance of grouping things. Coming to fourth one here, annotational things. So what is the importance of annotational things? Let's designers, they have designed a software system or they model a software system. Though the designed software system is supposed to be better understandable by other stakeholders, means other designers and all. So each and every design model supposed to be given what here comments, so that we call it as, that can be represented with note, is it? So if any designers, if they want to give comments about the design model of their software system, so which can be better understandable by other stakeholders, so that is what the importance of annotational things, describing the model of that particular software system, that is in the form of comment, that is what we call it as note. So these are the four things, right? Coming to second one here, relationships. So what are the various relationships in UML? So UML relationships were classified into four categories. UML relationships were classified into four categories. What are those here? First one is of dependency. Second one is of association. Third one is of generalization. Fourth one is of realization. These are the four relationships. So what is dependency here? So when one class is depending on another class, in that situation only we have to use dependency relationship. So what is the graphical representation of dependency? Dotted arrow, right? So graphical representation of dependency in UML. Next is association. What is the importance of association? So association, when two classes were depending on each other, in that situation only we have to use association. Then what's the importance of generalization? This is what graphical representation of generalization. If you want to model parent and child classes, if you want to model inheritance property, if you want to model parent and child classes, in that situation we have to use generalization relationship. Then what is the importance of here? Realization. The importance of realization, which can be represented like this. So this is what graphical representation of realization. There are two classes. That's it. There are two classes. One class is giving responsibility to another class has to perform it. In that situation only we have to use realization. So most of the cases while designing a software system or while modeling a software systems, is it? So very frequently used relationships for first three, right? So this realization is used very rarely. So that is what the importance of relationships. Next we are going to discuss about diagrams. In UML there are 9 kinds of diagrams were there. So those were classified into two categories. What are those two categories? That we will see here. So UML diagrams were classified into two categories. UML diagrams. So structural diagrams, first category. Structural diagrams. Next one is of behavioral diagrams. Behavioral diagrams. Structural diagrams, behavioral diagrams. So what are the diagrams which comes under structural diagrams? Class diagram, one of the structural diagram, object diagram. Next one is a component diagram. Next one is of deployment diagram. So the purpose of each and every diagram is different here, right? Coming to behavioral diagrams, which first one is of use case diagram. Second one is of sequence diagram. Third one is of collaboration diagram. Fourth one is of state chart diagram. Fifth one is of activity diagram. So these are 9 kinds of diagrams. So 9 kinds of diagram is nothing but here the purpose of these 9 kinds of diagram is what here? The purpose of these 9 kinds of diagrams is the developers as well as clients. They can better understand the software system. Developers as well as clients, they can better understand the software systems, right? So about these diagrams, the purpose of these structural diagrams, class, object and component, here the purpose of this structural diagrams here is class, object, component deployment diagram is to model the static view of a software system. The purpose of behavioral diagrams here is to model the dynamic view of a software system, to model the dynamic view of a software system, right? So about this diagram, we will discuss one or two diagrams we will discuss. We'll discuss briefly about this use case diagram. What is the importance of use case diagram? So use case diagrams were used for modeling the functional requirements of a software system. So any use case diagram consists of what here? Set of use cases, actors, relationships among use cases and actors. So relationships among use cases and actors, right? So what is the purpose of this use case? What use case represents here? Set of operations which can be performed by a software system. We call it as use case. That is what the importance of what here? Use case, right? So use cases can be represented like this, right? So we'll take simple example here. Let's take ATM user, one of the ATM user, right? One of the ATM user. What are the operations where ATM user can perform here? Is it? So withdraw operation, deposit, is it? Deposit operation, check balance, is it? Check balance, is it? And having relationships here, association. This is simple example, one of the simple example. This we call it as use case. So this use case diagram which represents what here? Functional requirements of a software system. Is it functionality? The developed software system. This is what developed software system. Software system. Software system. What is the functionality the developed software system is providing to the user, ATM user? So that's why use case diagram represents the functional requirements of a software system, right? Briefly, we will discuss class diagram. So what's the importance of class diagram? Class diagrams were used for modeling the static view of a software system. Any class consists of three compartments, right? So what are those three compartments here? Class name, attributes and operations. Class name, right? Attributes and operations, is it? So to model the class diagram, right? So what are the first and foremost thing identified? What are the classes which belongs to that particular application? Let's take class diagram for ATM application, right? ATM application consists of various classes here, is it? Customer is one class. Customer is one class, is it? Customer name, is it? Customer address, customer age, is it? Add customer, operations, these are all. Add customer, update customer, operations, right? Delete customer, these are the operations. Delete customer, right? So coming to here, bank is one more class. We are talking here ATM application. Class diagram for which application here? ATM application. Class diagram for ATM application, right? So here bank is a class which has attributes, is it? Name of the bank, place of the bank, address of the bank. What are the operations through bank can be performed here? Withdraw operation, deposit operation, is it? Etc. Right? And coming to here, bank might have again two subclasses, child classes we call it as. Savings account, what type of account banks having? Savings account, is it? Attributes operations. Current account, which account? Current account, right? Attributes and operations. So when we want to model parent and child classes, which relationship we have to use? We have discussed. Generalization is one of the relationship that can be used here. Generalization is one of the relationship, right? And coming to customer class, which is interacting with whom here? Customers will interact with ATM machine. ATM machine. So ATM machine having some attributes and operations. Is it? So ATM machine consists of small parts here. What are those? Functional key. Is it? Functional key. Is it? And keypad. Keypad, right? So here, what is the relationship we are using here? Aggregation. So if you want to represent small part from the large class, this is what the complete class. From that small part, if you want to represent, we have to use aggregation relationship. So this is what the purpose of aggregation relationship, right? So here between these two classes, customer and bank, both were depending on each other. That's why we have to use association relationship. So customer is depending on ATM machine. At the same time, ATM machine also depending on customer. We have to use association relationship. So this is what modeling, what the class diagram for an ATM application, right? So coming to next, we are going to discuss sequence diagram. Briefly, we'll discuss sequence diagram. So what's the importance of this sequence diagram? Sequence diagrams were used for modeling the dynamic view of a software system. Which represents time ordering of messages. So that is what the purpose of sequence diagram. Using sequence diagram, modeling the multiple object behavior can be modeled by using sequence diagram. So that is what the importance of sequence diagram. So about this sequence diagram, we'll take simple example. We'll draw a sequence diagram for which application here? We'll take ATM application. Sequence diagram for ATM application. Let's take sequence diagram for ATM application. So some of the previous, so few questions were asked from this particular concept, right? So from this particular concept, right? So any sequence diagram consists of collection of objects. What are those objects? User is one of the object, keypad, one more object, right? ATM machine, one more object. ATM machine, one more object, right? So user, keypad, ATM machine, right? So what user initially will do? What user will initially will do? So initially user will do here inserting ATM card. User reached to ATM machine and inserted the card into the ATM machine. Insert card, right? Once the card is inserted, if the card is valid card, is it? ATM machine will ask to the user, what is that? If the card is valid card, enter PIN number. Which will ask, enter PIN number. The user is, with the help of keypad, the user entered the PIN number. Right? User was entered the PIN number. Is it whether the entered PIN number is valid or not? Validate PIN number. Self message passing. Validate PIN number. We call it as validate PIN number. If the PIN is valid, is it? ATM machine will ask what here? Select transaction type. Select transaction type. So do you want to go for withdraw? Yes. In that case, ATM machine will ask you what here? Enter amount for withdraw. Enter amount for withdraw, right? Enter amount for withdraw, right? So amount was entered by the user with the help of keypad, which belongs to ATM machine. Is it? Amount in digits. Amount in what here? Digits. Amount in digits. Whether the account holder is having sufficient balance in their account or not. So that's why self message passing will take place. Check balance. If they have sufficient balance, ATM machine will ask to the ATM user, do you want receipt? Do you want receipt? In that case, with the help of keypad, is it ATM user is yes. In that case, ATM machine will give a response to the user, please collect cash and receipt. So which was collected by the user, right? Do you want to continue? ATM machine will ask to the user, what is that? Do you want to continue? Do you want to continue? If it is yes, if it is no, then process will stop here, no. Then ATM machine will send a message to the ATM user, what is that is, thank you for using our ATM service. Thank you for using our ATM service. So this is what the sequence diagram for an ATM application. So any sequence diagram consists of set of objects, dispatching of messages among objects, time ordering of messages. After processing of first message only, first object is sending a message to the third object, ATM machine. Once the message is dispatched, once this message is completed, then only second message will take place, then only third message will take place, then only fourth message will take place. That's why the name given sequence diagram. So dispatching of messages among objects is in a sequential manner. That's why the name given sequence diagram, which represents time ordering of messages. So that is what the importance of sequence diagram. This what we call it as focus of rectangle box consists of what we call it as focus of control. When there is a focus of control, then only objects can perform operations among them, right? And what this dotted line represents here? This dotted line represents here lifeline of an object. This dotted line represents what here? Lifeline of an object. Till at what extent the object is alive? Is it? Till here the object is alive. Till here the object is alive. So behind the dotted line the object is dead. Behind this dotted line the object is dead. So that is what the importance of lifeline of an object. So this is about the sequence diagram for an ATM application, right? So we will discuss briefly about collaboration diagram. So what is the importance of collaboration diagram? So combination of sequence and collaboration diagram called as interaction diagram. Collaboration diagram purpose here is which is used for structural organization of objects. How the objects can organize in a structural manner. So that is what the importance of collaboration diagram, right? Next we are going to discuss about RRB JE system analysis and design previous year questions. So we'll discuss previous year questions. So what is the first question here? The first task in the system analysis is, so in system analysis process, what is the first task? So programming, orientation and fact finding, the study of the processing operation, none of these. So what is the correct one here? So the first task in the system analysis process is orientation and fact finding. That means to say preliminary investigation should take place and feasibility study process supposed to be conducted. So that's why the answer is orientation and fact finding. Through fact finding techniques, client requirements will be gathered and analyzed. That's why system analysis first task is orientation and fact finding, right? So this question was asked in the year RRB JE 2014, right? Coming to next question, which are the tools not used for system analysis? System test data, decision table, data flow diagram, flow charts. So here decision tables can be used in system analysis. Data flow diagrams also used for the system analysis. Flow charts also used for the system analysis. Whereas system test data cannot be used for system analysis. Why? System test data which is used for testing purpose, not for system analysis. So which are the tools not used for system analysis? Means system test data. Next question is the four icons used in building the data flow diagram. So DFDs, to model DFDs for any software application, is it? So there are what here icons supposed to be used. So what are those icons? Flow, source, store and process. Flow, process, source and store. Flow, process, source or destination and store. Source, process, destination and store. So observe here flow. So here flow can be represented with what here? Arrow. So data flow. So DFD consists of various data. The data is processed within the software system. When data is processed, is it within the software system? How the data flow is taking place? With arrow. So how to represent here process? Processes can be represented with cycle also. So there are two different other representations. Source and destination, which represents here external entities. So which can be represented with rectangle box, right? And store, so which can be represented with what here? Two horizontal lines. Store, data storage, database store, simply we call it as. So the four icons used in building data flow diagrams are flow, process, source and destination and store. Source or destination and store. So the answer is C. The answer is C, right? The answer is what here? C. Answer is of C, right? Coming to next one, the question was asked, this question was asked here, RRB JE 2014. This question was asked in the year RRB JE 2014. Next question is, which of the following might be the output as a result of using CASE tools? What is CASE stands for? Computer aided software engineering tools. Computer aided software engineering tools. Computer aided software engineering tools. So what's the purpose of these tools? So nowadays most of the tools which can be used for programming, generating source code, for generation of source code also can be done by tools, and to design a software system. So data flow diagrams, Lucid chart, is it SmartRaw, is it open source tools, rational rows, is it rational software architect design tools which can be used, is it, and as well as prototypes and cost benefit analysis, is it. So for that also, so to design a prototype for any software system, sample model, initial version of a software system, that also can be generated by using tools. That means to say which of the following might be the output as a result of using tools means, yeah, all these three. So all of the above is the answer, right? This question was asked in the year 2014. Next question is of the vertical dimension of a sequence diagram represents. So just now we had discussed about the sequence diagram. So vertical dimension which represents what here? Dimension which represents what here? Time, right? So vertical which represents what here? Time. So that is dispatching of messages among objects in a sequential manner. Is it clear? So that's why time ordering. Is it time ordering? So sequence diagram represents what here? Time ordering. Is it? So time ordering, right? So the vertical dimension of a sequence diagram which represents what here? Time. So this is the answer. Is it? Whereas horizontal dimensions of a sequence diagram which represents what here? Objects. So these questions were asked in the previous years, right? That is, which was asked in the year RRB JE 2014. Coming to the type of prototypes used during the analysis phase of system design is the design prototype, evaluation prototype, discovery prototype, functioning prototype. Which prototype can be used here? Discovery prototype. So this is the answer. So the type of prototype used during the analysis phase of system design is the discovery prototype. Is the which prototype? Discovery prototype. This question was asked in the year 2014, right? Next one is, which of the following is not a fact-finding technique? Which of the following is not a fact-finding technique? Now observe here. So we had discussed there are various fact-finding techniques which were used for gathering the requirements from the client to better understand the requirements of the software system, right? So interview is one of the fact-finding technique, questionnaire one of the fact-finding technique, and observation also one of the fact-finding technique. Whereas photography is not a fact-finding technique. So this is the answer. Which of the following is not a fact-finding technique? Means here photography is not a fact-finding technique. This question was asked in the year RRB JE 2015. Right. Next question, which of the following is not a valid goal of requirement analysis and specification phase here? Requirements analysis and specification means SRS. Which one is not a goal of software requirement specification document which consists of client requirements and project strategies? So which one is not a goal here? Fully understanding user requirements. Yes, that is the goal of the SRS. And remove inconsistencies from user requirements. That is a goal also. Produce system design based on user requirements. This is not the goal. Right? And properly record user requirements in SRS document. This is also goal. So which of the following is not a valid goal of requirement analysis and specification phase here? Produce system design based on user requirements is not a goal. This is the answer. Coming to next one, which of the following statement about data flow diagram is not valid? DFD is not valid. So DFD is a graphical representation of the flow of data through an information system. That is a what here? Valid statement. DFD can be used for the visualization of data processing. That is also valid. DFD shows what kind of information will be input to and output from the system. So that is also valid. DFD provide information about whether processes will operate in sequence or in parallel. This is not valid about DFD. This is the answer. Right? So next question is of which of the following is not a part of physical design? So abstract representation of data flows, inputs and outputs of the system, user interface design, data design, process design. Which of the following is not a part of physical design? What are the things which come under physical design here? User interface design is a physical design, data design is a physical design, process design is a physical design, whereas abstract representation of data flows, inputs and outputs of the system is not a physical design. Which of the following is not a part of physical design means abstract representation of data flows, DFDs, inputs and outputs of the system is not part of the physical design. So this question was asked in the year RRB JE 2015, right? Coming to next one, in a DFD, external entities are represented by. So external entities are represented by what here? A rectangle. So external entity of DFD can be represented by rectangle, circle. So process can be represented, is it? So ellipse, diamond, those are the different relationships. So RRBJ, this question was asked in the year RRBJ 2019. Next, which of the following model is used to show how data flows through a sequence of processing steps here? How data flows through by using data flow diagram, data flow model, right? So this question was asked in the year 2019, right? Next one is, a dash is an interaction diagram that emphasizes the time ordering of messages sent between the objects we had discussed. That is sequence diagram. A sequence diagram is an interaction diagram that emphasizes the time ordering of messages sent between objects. So in a sequence diagram only, object interaction will take place. So a sequence diagram represents what here? Time ordering of messages. So the answer is A here, right? And this question was asked in the year RRBJ 2019. Next, which of the following identifies data flow in motion? So flow of data for the software system, arrow, is it? Which can be represented, flow of data, right? With arrow, right? So this question was asked in the year RRBJ 2019. So this is about previous year questions which was asked in the RRBJ. Thank you one and all.